2-minute drill time, Friday morning at 105.5 WDHA. Jim Monahan and Chris Swendeman. And Chris, it's just pitchers and catchers for the time being, but baseball's back.
Absolutely. Four of the best words in the English language, pitchers and catchers report. And we are in that time, and it's just glorious. The Super Bowl is behind us. Baseball is ahead of us. What a time to be alive, as you would say.
There are 5 names that are still out there, and they all have something in common. Pitchers Blake Snell and Jordan Montgomery, third baseman Matt Chapman, outfielder Cody Bellinger, designated hitter DH JD Martinez, and you know what they all have in common? The same agent, Scott Boras.
Go figure.
What do you think's up with that?
Honestly, my theory, I think teams are starting to get tired of Boras's act, and I think he's wearing on teams, and I think teams collectively are starting to wait him out. And he's got a bunch of players he feels should get a certain amount. Blake Snell being the Cy Young winner last year.
Hello.
Cody Bellinger, 30 home runs, 100 runs, almost 100 RBI, 20 steals. I mean, you're talking about guys that had really good seasons, but I feel collectively the owners are starting to get wise to Boras and just say, you know what? We're going into spring training. I'm sure the Cubs would love to have Bellinger back. I'm sure the Yankees or another team would love to have Blake Snell, but they're not paying the Boras money collectively. Do you know that the Dodgers and the Braves, two of the biggest powerhouses in MLB, guess how many Scott Boras clients they have between them?
4, 2 on each team.
Yep, exactly. And what does that tell you? And it's not like the Dodgers don't spend money.
That's for sure.
I mean, ask Mr. Ohtani about how much they open up the wallet. So I definitely feel like it's a Boras thing.
Well, speaking of Boras, he's going to have a huge impact on New York baseball this year and into next year as well. And that's because he's got 2 huge names, one with the Yankees, Juan Soto, and the other with the Mets, Pete Alonso. If Alonso is still in a Met uniform, because both are going to go free agency at the end of the year, if Alonso is still in a Met uniform the day after the trade deadline, I will be stunned.
I think David Stearns, the new GM of the Mets, is going to wind up trading him just because he'll be sick about not trading him, because New York media is just going to hound him until either they re-sign him or they deal him. And I'm with you. He doesn't make it to the deadline in a Mets uniform.
And Boras or not, whether teams are tired of dealing with him, Juan Soto is going to command a huge, huge payday. So somebody's going to ante up for him. Maybe it's the Yankees. We'll see what happens with that.
It'll be interesting to watch as the season progresses, and how he produces for the Yankees will ultimately dictate whether Brian Cashman opens up the wallet or there's another GM waiting in the wings for the season to end to offer him even more money.
And a quick note to follow up on the Super Bowl, which obviously the Kansas City Chiefs won. I think there's a lot of problems with that organization right now. And you saw it, smatterings of it throughout the season, helmets being thrown, guys screaming and yelling at each other. And I know it's the heat of battle. I get it. But there were some things that went on the sidelines during that game on Sunday, Chris. You know, Kelsey bumping into Reed. He was out of control. Guys screaming at each other. Again, heat of the battle, I get it. But this was a thing that went on all season long. I know they won, but they looked really, really undisciplined, especially for a team that had just been there the year before.
The first half, they looked like absolute garbage. I mean, they came out at whatever they did at the halftime, they regrouped and came out as a different team, because in the first half, they looked completely disjointed, off their game, and San Francisco had them on their heels. Kelsey, what he did, unexplainable. You just don't do that. And he even said, he's like, I lost it and I was wrong, which I give him credit for that. Rashee Rice, you saw him come off the field saying and mouthing to Mahomes, I was open towards the end of the game when he could have thrown a touchdown. And I think it went, I think he was just, a missed pass, but didn't even look his way. And you saw Mahomes like brush him off, like, I don't even want to hear it. Like you're questioning me. The looks and the body language, it's all just disjointed for what these KC teams have been up until now. So I agree with you. I think going into next year, you got a lot of egos and they're going to have to check it at the door. It's going to be a mess.
February 19th, Mets with the first full squad workout. February 20th, the Yankees with the first full squad workout. We'll be talking baseball a lot this year on the 2-minute drill. Thanks, Swendeman. We'll talk again next week.
You got it. Have a great weekend. Talk to you next week.